everyone. Welcome to DL44 Network. I am Ryan Dole, one of the hosts on this channel, this network of people and friends. And this is just a DL44 live on a Friday night. There was some news that came out while I was in Toronto, and we talked about it a little bit on Toying Around. So if you watch last week's Toying Around, it's myself and Kevin and Paul, and we're hanging out in the geeky basement.
And Daniel.
And Daniel, who's in the chat. I was going to give him a shout out. I was going to give him a special shout out when we get to the saying hello to the chat, because I see that he's here. But let's say hello to everyone who's actually here hanging with us tonight. Steve 3.
Good evening. I thought you meant in the chat. I wasn't ready for that one. Good evening. How are you? How are all of you fine gentlemen?
Yeah, we're still getting by after last weekend.
Yeah. Still
getting by. Paulie, you're back with us again. Welcome back.
Am indeedly doodly.
Yeah, dude. And that's it. Yeah, all right. Kevin. Kevin as well.
Yo.
Hey, guys.
Happy to be live again.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, and awesome. And thanks again, guys, for last week in Toronto and stuff like that. That was so much fun.
It's so cool, right? It was so different to be in person to do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In fact, I'm just going to close my eyes for the rest of this stream and pretend I'm still in the same room with you guys.
Yeah.
Did you take some t-shirts then, Kevin, so you can smell them next to you?
Take some
You,
t-shirts?
No. Decorate the back of your chair with one of Paul's and Ryan's, maybe.
No, he took some 4Ks, I think, some steel books, didn't you?
Yeah, I can smell Paul's version of Paul's Heat. And by that I mean the movie Heat.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He's not a dog, Steve.
Okay.
He doesn't need the scent of people to remind him that they're there.
No.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Yeah, he's I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
I know I left Ryan some items of clothing when I stayed with him.
Yeah, he left me
just so
like
he
a
didn't miss me.
gotch and a crusty sock, and it's funny because it was my sock, but he left me it.
Terrible.
What a jerk. Let's say a quick hello to the chat. Bitter Troll is here. Toying Around is here as well. The guy we were just talking about, Daniel DSurtle6520. Hey, a Friday night DL44 stream to end off a great day. Yes, thank you. Thank you for being here. We're going to give you more of a shout out as soon as we're done. First thing we're going to look at is the wonderful thing that you made. The three of us and not Steve. We've got Sir Eric Brown. Thank you.
Sir, wait, were you going to read that as one word?
One word. I was going to read it as one word. I was like Sariaki.
Sire Rick
Brown. Somebody's wife, Allie Williams.
Good evening.
Ali.
Tommy 3757 is here as well.
Shut up, Tommy.
Yeah, it's great seeing Tommy while I was in Toronto as well.
Why do we get all the numbers now? Does anyone know why we're getting?
Yeah, that's very interesting.
I don't know.
So many different names for people. Even they don't know they got these names. It's really weird.
I don't know if it's just a StreamYard thing or a YouTube thing,
No,
but it's been happening the last few
Grosecki's
weeks.
still got just his Jason Grosecki.
Yeah, maybe he knows the secret, or we don't.
Yeah, maybe, right? Even John Galgano 8091 is here as well. Yeah, like you were just saying, Grosecki's here. My stud finder keeps beeping. Well, that means you found a stud. Oh, that's what you. Oh, Kyle, formerly from Super 7, now from Mattel, is here as well. Thank you very much. Oh, and Rick Jones 8005.
What's up, Rick?
Right, is here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for everyone coming, hanging out on this fine Friday. Oh, hang on, one more. And Jamie, Pale Rider 3143. Everyone's got like TK numbers. It's kind of funny.
It is weird.
I like
it's
that.
Really weird.
Right.
I spent 2 hours with Jamie last night unboxing. It was great.
Yeah, Jamie's been like unboxing like he's got there's a lot of Ghostbusters content over on Generation X-Wing. So if anyone is into that, go check them out. Steve's on there too every now and again.
That's what I'm saying. Last night we went wild. We got the keys to the car. Rob was away, and we stole the StreamYard. We went and unboxed some horror classics from NECA and some other things. It was cool.
Nice. speaking of cool little things, Daniel. Yeah, I said Daniel. He made some miniatures of Paul. I think he printed them out. He painted them up. They look amazing. I know we didn't get to really kind of show them on Thursday really well just because of how our setup was. We weren't prepared. But if you take a look here, I'll embiggen Paul, then embiggen Kevin. There we go. Take a look. Look
Paul's
at that. Yeah.
Wow, Paul has to wrap his around both legs. That's crazy.
Oh, I didn't even notice that detail. That's really cool. That's a great print.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get that detail to be away from the body. Well done, Daniel. I'm so glad you ended up not making me one. I'm really happy.
Yeah.
Printed and painted like that is
look at that butt.
Phenomenal.
Did you model that, Paul?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. That's the plot.
Yeah. There's a clenching going on. I can see
My
it.
Daniel
OnlyFans is finally starting to pay off.
Daniel got up close and got some measurements.
Yeah.
Firsthand.
Yes, Jason. These are micro galaxy scale.
They're not.
They're slightly bigger.
They're slightly bigger.
Just
but
an
it works.
inch.
But it works. Bitter Troll trying to get into the same doghouse as Steve. Which is great.
No comment. Look at that.
D. Cares is here. Thank you very much. He says it's a YouTube thing. Just have to go to your profile to change it. So there you go, everyone. If you don't want your TK numbers to be shown, that's how you change it. Right? Look at this. Sir Eric Brown, cake like Hera. Daniel, if you ever decide you're going to make more of these, please make a Hera.
Yeah.
I think a Hera would go very well with this Carson Teva.
Different poses.
Different. Actually, just some more Carson Tevas in different poses too.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
would be great.
Dancing
one of
Carson Tevas. Oh,
Dancing Carson
Tevas.
Teva. The one of him just leaned back with a drink at the bar, and the jacket would be a good one.
Yeah.
There's just him standing there annoyed, trying to talk to bureaucrats on Coruscant. I think that'd be a good one. So if you're ever doing your own D&D campaign and you're playing as Carson Teva, you can roll for your charisma points to see if you can get any help over at another planet that's not registered with the New Republic. Spoiler alerts, by the way.
These are cool.
Watching. Yeah, these are great.
Yeah.
They're good. Super. I think these might even be slightly bigger than Micro Machines as well. I'm gonna have to do some comparisons on that as well, because I think these are just super cool.
Daniel makes like a whole bunch of stuff, right? Clone troopers, stormtroopers also, I think.
I think it's mostly clones, but he can tell us himself in the chat.
Here's a clone that he made for.
See, the clone looks pretty micro galaxy size.
Yeah. They're just a titch too big though, still. But these are for the lats. He gave me a whole bunch
subway
of them.
hanger handles.
Yeah, and then he's also got some ones that are seated as well, so you can have them perched off to the side
on a bidet or something.
Now we just need some toilets or something.
Sitting off on the like in the doorway.
Oh, you know that the Old Republic.
That's perfect. He's holding a cell phone, watching like something in that one, a tablet.
It's like Deadpool on top of the flyover with his sketch.
Yeah, Daniel's doing a whole bunch of these. Go check out Daniel on DCirtle on Instagram.
Look at that. Yep. And again, they're just checking their phones, watching.
That one looks like he's holding a bento box for lunch.
They're on the toilet. One of them could be on the plane watching Peacemaker, season 2, episode 1 on the plane.
Never again.
Never again.
Never again.
If it's rated R and it's by James Gunn, you should know better.
Yeah, I just wasn't expecting the full out orgy. That's all.
No one was. No one was.
It's like, whoa, okay. And just in time to get the bowl of nuts.
Yeah. Would you like a coffee?
Yeah. No, thanks. Just Just a nice big jug of shame.
Yeah. But no, these are awesome, Daniel. And these actually make me want to start. I know I've said this many times. I'd love to start a role like a Star Wars RPG campaign. It's already hard enough to get people together to do this, let alone to get people together to do a campaign. But man, it's super, super cool. Hang on. I am going to add this to the stage here.
There we go.
Look at this. This is some of Daniel's work, this looks so badass.
Yeah, man. Killed it on this. Great job, Daniel.
Right? Little Execute Order 66.
Oh, what if he made little younglings?
Little younglings. Well, he's got the armor, so I guess it's not technically 66, but
not yet. Yeah.
But I mean, this still looks awesome. I mean, you do a little. I think maybe Daniel, you should start vaping so that you can blow the smoke and put the lighting in, and then take photos.
Oh yeah, that's always perfect for some quick toy photography.
That's right. You don't need to be addicted to vaping. You just need to vape when you need to take photos. That's it. That's all. Best inexpensive smoke machines you can get.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Daniel, again, awesome. Love to showcase your stuff. It looks so good. And you do really help elevate like those miniatures and those collections, like just even the clone troopers in the carrier, the blah blah blah. Why am I blanking? We just had a HAZMAT. The LAT. Keep wanting to call it the STAT, but that's not it. That's what the droids ride.
Yes.
Right. All right. Let's get into our topics. I want to talk about movies, Disney Plus. There's a lot of moving and shaking, a lot of news, a lot of I guess I shouldn't say leaks necessarily, but there's a lot of there's rumors and people kind of talking about things that did not happen. And I kind of want to start off with, with our boy, Kylo Ren. We touched on this a little bit on Thursday, and I kind of wanted to get more in depth about it, just because I feel like it is crazy to me that this happened. So give me one moment here. I'm going to read us the news. All right. So hang on. Who do we got here? Adam Driver has revealed that Disney shot down a Star Wars sequel centered on Ben Solo, despite Lucasfilm being on board. The Oscar-nominated actor who played the son of Han Solo and Leia Organa and the grandson of Anakin Skywalker, because you have to make sure in these articles you have the whole family in there, and later turned into villain Kylo Ren, recently detailed the sequel idea during the interview with the Associated Press. He states, I was always interested in doing another Star Wars, Driver said, and I had been talking about doing one since 2021. Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm, had reached out, and I always said with a great director and a great story, I'd be there in a second. I love that character. I loved playing him. And then let's see here, what else we got? So he eventually took his idea from filmmaker Steve Soderbergh. I said that correct? Soderbergh. Adding that the film would have taken place after 2019's The Rise of Skywalker, and after Soderbergh and Rebecca Blunt outlined the story concept, they tapped Scott Z. Burns to write a script, and Driver described it as one of the coolest fucking scripts I've ever been a part of. The Adam Driver continued. Well, we presented the script to Lucasfilm. They loved the idea. They totally understood our angle and why we were doing it. While everything seemed to be moving full steam ahead at that point, there were a few more people Driver needed to get on board for the film, which was tentatively titled The Hunt for Ben Solo, to fully come to life. However, things didn't go as planned as they presented it to Disney execs. We took it to Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, and they said no. They didn't see how Ben Solo was alive because they're idiots. And that's me saying that. Adam Driver didn't say that. and that was that. Driver recalled. His character Kylo Ren has a redemption arc across the trilogy and ultimately dies at the end of Rise of Skywalker. He added, though, the sequel idea was really cool. He noted, "It is no more, so I can finally talk about it." Soderbergh also wrote a statement saying, "I really enjoyed making the movie in my head. I was just sorry the fans won't get to see it." That's the article, and it just makes me more mad reading it. Yeah, I'm a huge Kylo Ren fan. I think a lot of folks, if anyone doesn't know that, I am. I'm a huge fan of Kylo Ren. So this really kind of doubled down on bad news of the week. So it was just, yeah, I don't know. I got lots of thoughts on this, but we won't start with me. Steve, because you didn't get to join us on Thursday. Steve, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been. I would like to see a different version of the character myself personally. And you got, because I've heard he wanted his redemption arc from a reverse kind of order than Darth Vader, right? So he wanted to start off strong in it and then come away and be good. But to me, though, I really wanted more out of the Knights of Ren story, the Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren. So there's a story there that I still want to see, which is not being told. We got a glimpse of it, and then from seeing the badass Knights of Ren, we also then got to see him destroy the Knights of Ren. So I'd love to see that in between bit. So yeah, I think we should always get some stories. And if the people that are playing the characters and the people that know the characters and have done a lot of research behind the characters want to do more with it, you'd think it would be a good idea, right? Especially when you've got that backing and you're not just telling an actor, well, no, you're going to do this, which you don't particularly want to do. Isn't it better to have something they're super passionate about doing, like Deadpool, you know? Yep. So yeah, it would have been good to see it. But there is a part of me that can see why the fragile minds of corporations are like, wow, we don't want to bring someone back from the dead again. We had a big backlash about Sidious. You know, I can see them just shitting in their pants and not wanting to do it and not seeing a bigger picture.
Yeah, that's fair. Kevin?
I don't know. We were talking about the sequels today, and it was like, I've only seen it once. Do I need to rewatch it? Because Kylo Ren is cool, but the tantrums and like randomly slashing equipment when he was upset was like, I don't know how I feel about that part. But I did like the arc of like, the son of these heroes, heroes of the rebellion, and that whole arc. I think it's one of the coolest arcs overall. To see it continue, to see, I didn't even know Adam Driver was that passionate about the role until now. So it always felt like, it's done with, and that's that period of my life. But I think it's a cool opportunity. I don't know why they didn't think they could make more money out of it. Or are they just, shying away from sequel stuff? But it is a bummer. I would like to see an opportunity to expand on that era of Star Wars.
Right. Yep. I agree. Yeah. Paul.
Well, it's an interesting thing, just because of the people involved in the project. I mean, Steven Soderbergh, he's been around the block, and he's come up with. He's a very versatile director. He's an artist in a sense. All of his movies, they're not sort of like he's always searching. If you watch his body of work, all of his movies are very different from each other, and he does that on purpose, right? So he'll have like even within, like, for example, the Oceans trilogy, right? Oceans 11 and Oceans 12 and Oceans 13, they're all completely different styles of movie. It's not the same old when you look at the sequel. He actively looks to change things up, right? Like, he was also the director who he worked with Gina Carano. He did Haywire, right? And then he did Traffic. He's done like all kinds of. If you look at that, and then you look at the screenwriter involved, Scott Zed Burns. He wrote The Bourne Ultimatum. So you've got a pedigree of people who are involved in this project, which bodes very, very well. You've got a leading actor who's very, very interested in reprising a role and wanted to go into it. You've got the people at Lucasfilm who are very, very happy with what's going on. And let's get this straight. This wasn't an idea that was just in development. they had been working hard on it, and they had a finished script, and it had been internally, according to what I've read, it was greenlit internally at Lucasfilm. They were actually they had a script, they had a timeline, they were making designs for it, and it got kiboshed at the executive level at Disney. It wasn't Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm wanted it.
Yeah,
Kathleen Kennedy was happy with it. Dave Filoni was happy with it. Carrie Beck was happy with it. They were all ready to rock and roll with this thing. And it was, two people at Disney, Bob Iger and what's his name? Berman.
Yeah.
Alan Bergman. They stopped it. And for reasons which they said, well, we don't understand. I mean, it was a story reason. It wasn't, they say it was a story reason, not that it was a financial reason, although I'm curious about that. But they were saying basically, look, we don't understand how he could be brought back to life. He died and that. Want to be confusing. To which everybody at Lucasfilm was like, did you not read the script? We thought it was pretty well thought out and it made sense and we were happy with it. So, the reason why we're hearing about all this now is because the project is dead. Like they buried it.
I know.
These guys signed NDAs. They're not allowed to say anything until the project is dead. Now that it's dead, they can talk about what was going on. And, Soderbergh has gone on record and confirming some of the details where it was just like, they'd never, ever in the history of Lucasfilm had this happen where they had a finished script that were ready to go and it never moved on because of, Disney.
That's crazy.
So I find that a bit frustrating. I think it's one of those could have been, woulda, coulda, shoulda. I think it would have been really interesting because it's another sequel era movie. If they want to move on from that, I think it would have been a great sort of jumping off point. I was curious to see how that would have panned out. I hope one day they leak a script because that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Why not write a book? Let's read this
or something.
thing.
But
So
it's one of those things where sometimes it's like you trust the artist. Let the artist tell the stories. More and more, I'm becoming very disenfranchised with corporate interference. People who don't make movies making decisions on what movies get made, and so that kind of bugs me. That bugs me a little bit. Let the artist do the art, right?
Yeah,
and let the bean counters count the beans, type thing.
And I think that's the biggest kick in the balls about all of it is that when something like this happens and you hear about it this way from really respected writers and movie makers and storytellers at the end of the day, and we're all missing good stories. A good story and going to a movie and seeing a good story portrayed on the screen is what the freaking movies are made for. They're the escapism, and give me 2 hours of getting away from the bullshit of the real world. But now I think this is a kick in the nuts to have good people like this, great people who are good at their job, be kiboshed by a higher up in a corporation. Is that not going to put like a dampener on anyone wanting to try this sort of thing again? Is that not just going to stifle the people going?
Yeah,
and
it's bad for business.
Yep.
I'm actually reading the source that I'm reading as well was basically saying, after this script was submitted, it stalled at the executive level, and I'm just going to read from the story here, and it says sources say Bergman took an unusually long time to read the script. And when he and Iger finally responded, their primary concern was the narrative continuity, specifically uncertainty about how Ben Solo could be alive following the events of Rise of Skywalker. So there's that. But fallout from that decision appears to have extended beyond the project itself. Bergman's handling of several high-profile initiatives have been criticized internally, and his standing within Disney's succession plan has reportedly weakened. So there is fallout from this, and it's not just Star Wars that apparently has been mishandled. There have been other big properties that have been mishandled, and so people are not happy within Disney. So it's one of those things. I know everybody is saying hope springs eternal, but it's a time of change both at Lucasfilm and at Disney, right? They're talking succession plans. They're talking about Kathleen Kennedy, what's happening with her, who's going to succeed her because she's stepping down, right?
Right.
And so who knows what's going to happen? Who's going to take over? Are they going to revive it? Are they going to move in a completely different direction? And I think with all this uncertainty right now, they're probably very, very reluctant to make any sort of decision moving
Is
forward.
there any chance this is like a last ditch kind of Hail Mary? That like, oh, now maybe when the public hears about it, and then
Right.
there's huge support, knowing how far along this was, how many people
Yeah.
were on board, how it could
Like a
have been.
Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool thing.
Yeah, right?
Right?
And then, but after, but that was what I was thinking before you mentioned, like, oh, NDAs have to be completely
Yeah.
like finished before they're allowed to talk about something like this. So I don't know. Does that mean like truly that's the final nail in the coffin, or like is this again the last Hail Mary that like if this doesn't make it happen, then nothing will.
The,
I've,
the
Hey,
cynic in me is thinking that the only way to really get this revived again is it's just if enough people show interest in it, like online, right? You get like this huge sort of wave where Disney goes, well, we'd be fools not to make it. Look at all this cash they're gonna just heap on us, right?
Well, maybe
and
maybe
that's
it takes the
money
step
talk.
down.
Money
Maybe the
talk,
people need to
bullshit
step
walk.
away. you know?
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing is like it's money. It's always going to come down to money.
Yeah.
I think that's a good sign, because if it's one thing that Star Wars fans are known for is to be level-headed before a project comes out and to give it a fair chance
Yeah.
before you actually make it, before you go and make a strong movement on the internet. So guys, I think it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
The-
That's yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of hold out hope that it could still happen when they see there's people interested. I think Paul nailed it with if they see there's money to be made off of it, they'll go right back to that well, and they will have no issue doing so. So yeah, I'm with Paul on that one. And I'm also with everyone else. If they decide not to do it as a movie, release the script. If there's art, release the art. Do an art of book for something that did not even exist. I mean,
Yeah.
usually art of books to begin with are a lot of concept arts for movies and TV, or now even theme parks that didn't even, come to realization. So, I mean, if even Lucasfilm sees that there's money in it, even if it's not a movie, print is cheap. And if they know they can probably make some money off that, they could they might do it.
Do it animated.
So which sections of the Star Wars fan base can show that this will be profitable? Is it the toy collectors? Is it the book readers, the art book readers? Who's like, where do we rally these people?
I think, could you imagine if this news broke during Celebration? Like,
Oh, that would have been perfect.
there would have been a riot. Like, how would people explain there was a riot in Japan over that Kylo Ren announcement? But I think I think timing is a big thing, and I think now is a good time to also kind of like, because everyone's kind of like giving Disney, the corporation, right now a lot of side eye. Of like, they're doing a lot of questionable things, and this just adds that fuel to the fire. And I think anything that could probably help get people back in its good graces after telling everyone, hey, we're gonna raise the price of your Disney Plus, we're gonna raise the price of the parks, and now we're canceling all these good ideas, and now we're making it public. They got to do something. And who knows, they might see something in this. But I think, to even answer Kevin's question there too, like who needs to get together, it's everyone across the board. I think it has to be. I think it just has, like, Star Wars fans as the community, like, need to get on this. Like, I think now we are even starting to see more, like on the toy side of it, starting to see more people go, hey, yeah, and where's my Ben Solo action figure I never got? So like you're starting to see that. And then of course, just like you're saying, like with the books, right? People, what is it? The High Republic still does well in sales for books.
Oh, does
right?
it? Nice.
They do keep going. They keep making them. If they weren't doing well, they would stop, right? And then so I think across the board, and the Raylos. I think the Raylos need to rally.
Yeah, but where do you take that one? That's the thing to me, is like I want to read the script now, because a couple of people have mentioned in the chat as well. It's like, where do you go with this? How do you bring someone back from the dead. I mean, I don't think it's an unreal thing to imagine. I mean, we've had the dyad in the Force. Ray was able to watch him in the shower and all this stuff going
Oh,
on.
I forgot
right?
about that.
So
Yeah, I don't
you
want to
can-
see this anymore.
You can do all
Oh
of this
my
stuff. So you've got those fantastical
That's
things.
fine.
You've got Force Ghosts. You've got this and the other. So to me,
Well,
I'm
think
more
about-
interested to know where they would take it, because I think
Yeah.
if you scare away a studio with bringing someone back from the dead, right, you've got to have a really good way of doing that. And we're not bringing back Kylo Ren. We're bringing Ben Solo back.
Yeah.
Right.
Because all of that shit's gone down. So
Well, it needs redemption because that whole family line is dead.
Did we talk about the Ray movie last week? Because remember, there's supposed to be a Ray project. What if this gets blended
that's on hold.
into that? Right? It's Ray that you're focusing on in the search for a Ben Solo type deal. If there's an avenue there to work that storyline in.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there is that, and I wouldn't mind if I know the worlds between worlds is very Ahsoka, that's kind of like her thing,
but it exists.
but it exists, right? And then you think about, like, they brought back Darth Maul, they brought back Palpatine somehow, and I don't know, I just feel like
But that was literally cloning, though, right? Am I wrong?
He was.
That
Yeah,
that was
I-
cloning. Because everyone keeps saying he was blown up, but if there was a project going on behind, that was cloning.
that's never been officially stated.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, but we're
Come
not
on.
that stupid, though. Are we?
They've been laying the breadcrumbs from like the
Yeah.
beginning.
Paul's like, I'm in the Mandalorian. They actually,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the cloning's there.
Like, come on.
Clone Wars and Rebels, all the animated ones have got these links to cloning.
Yeah.
It's everything. So I don't think it's going to be cloning. To me, that's why I kind of want to see it. I want to see it because I want to see what they're going to do with it. Like,
Yeah.
you're allowed to come up with something different. Imagine that. So you can't just shit your pants as soon as you hear someone's going to come back from what's obviously been a death. We don't know what they're going to give you.
Plus,
But-
he died on Exegol. Right? There's just like you don't. That thing's like, that's what it's all Force-based planet. Like, it's,
Right.
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
there's a lot you could do with that still. I don't know. There's just
I just wonder where, to me, it's not like I'm not a Kylo Ren fan, or I'm not hating on what we've seen of it already, but to me, I don't know where I don't know where it's going to take you to have this movie, where is it going to take us to? And so that's why it's really important to know the story rather than just why it's not getting made. I really want to know what's in it now. I want to read that script. I want to get it to be leaked, And even if it is something that they can't see how they're going to put in actors and on the screen, then damn, do it as an animated version and let's make it happen, because you can do so much more with animation than you can with live action. So
that's true
All
too.
I have a question.
Okay.
So Ezra goes into the world between worlds and finds that moment and saves Ahsoka. Pulls her. Was it Ezra? No, pulls her into the world between worlds and saves her. Right?
Right.
If you guys had access to the world between worlds, what Star Wars moment, and this goes for the chat too, type it in the chat if you have one. What Star Wars moment would you go back in there to change?
In the world between worlds, what
You saw one of those windows or doors like Peacemaker, but it's that storyline, and you can find that exact moment. What would you change?
Because oh man, because some stuff doesn't happen without other stuff happening.
Yeah,
Right? Like, so if you stop Anakin from becoming Darth Vader, right?
there
if
is
you
no Star Wars.
There is.
you go to episode 1 Tatooine. Hey, the dice didn't roll that way. No, he's not part of the deal. And then like the curb music comes up and it's the end
Yeah.
credits.
He crashes the pod and that's it. Game over.
Yeah.
Dead kid.
Right? So you can't, like, you could stop them, but it's just like, then none of anything else happens.
Or they make him a master on the council.
Make him a master on the council, or like, how, like, do you stop the council from accusing Ahsoka of treason, because that was another thing that triggered Anakin.
You know what I would do? I would stop the death of Padme and have her alive for the rest of it.
Oh, that's a good one.
Till she
Well,
naturally
he's already gone though at that
Doesn't
point.
matter. That's what will make it more fun. Is that Padme would be alive, and now he's got this thing he's got to look at and think about what he did.
But even to go back now and like to imagine watching Andor with a surviving Padme, with her and Mon Mothma, like and
So
Bail
good.
Organa getting together and like, yo, we got to stop.
Padme would be the first one on that rebel base, man, on Yavin.
100%. Raising kids,
Back far
raising
enough.
2 kids.
You're not going back far enough. I mean, I'm not saying like I like the Anakin thing, but not when he's a young kid. What just there's that precipice where he's about to go over because he does the right thing. He goes and he tells Mace Windu about what's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I would go and say I'd grab Mace Windu and go, bring Anakin, show him what a douche nozzle the Emperor is, and he won't turn because he gets manipulated. So if he shows up and they're going to arrest him and stuff like that, then it's just like he will see that, and you can see through the lies. There are these great Instagram posts about what if Anakin had stayed on the good side, the light side of the Force. And it's a lovely sort of sentiment because like Padme's still alive, Luke and Leia are born, Obi-Wan comes to visit them at their where they're living and stuff like that, and they're like, Uncle Obi-Wan, and he's got this, he's talking to Anakin saying, hey, you know what, I think you should leave the Order. I think this is like you've done your bit, and I think now it's time for you to go and sort of have your family and be strong in the Force and whatnot. And there's something very, very there's something very romantic about that idea.
Yeah.
Of what if Anakin had stayed on the path, the light side, and gotten rid of the Empire? It would have saved decades of intergalactic strife, I would have hoped. Right? You would have avoided an intergalactic war, and the Republic would have hopefully continued on. Because everything was
Kylo Ren came
by
along.
Palpatine.
Until Ben Solo came along.
Until Ben Solo turns to the dark side and starts the First Order.
I have a moment, but it feels too Family Guy-ish in my head. I would go when they're like, "Oh, Rey, what?" And right before she says Skywalker, I would just appear in a bubble above her in the desert. Be like, "No, don't say that. That doesn't work." It seems too silly to waste my one trip in the world between worlds to stop her from saying those words. But that's it. Ending the Empire or preventing it would be fun too.
Yeah, preventing it would be good. I'm trying to think of other ones that would just be.
I want to see what actually really happened with Shmi. What actually happened that night?
No, I want to know what happened.
Was it the midichlorians?
The Immaculate Conception?
Yeah. I want to go back and see Shmi out in the bars drinking.
It's like a hot tub time machine.
Yeah. Right? Or I want to know who hooked up with Palpatine to have kids.
They were clones.
More clones? He's just hooking up with clones?
Yeah.
He's make me a clone.
Clones of himself.
Yeah. A clone of me, but with a vagina.
Who are Rey's his granddaughter?
Yeah.
And did they show her parents on a ship in a flashback, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Where did they come from? I mean, I wouldn't.
Was it the daughter of Palpatine or the son of Palpatine? It was the son of Palpatine who then had a kid, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. That's what if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Palpatine's son.
Okay. So yeah, there was a middle generation there.
I mean, he was a senator for a long time. He probably got up to all sorts of stuff.
Oh
in
yeah,
those
those
robes.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
You know, a surprise, I'm sure, but you can keep it. I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No one needs to know. Yeah. That's a good point.
Have you guys gone back to rewatch the sequels? Well, like, how many times have you watched it first?
Oh, I've seen both. I've seen all three at least twice. I know when I was making my Kylo Ren costume.
Okay.
I was rewatching them then, and like just looking. A lot of it too was like pausing, looking for details and like just that kind of stuff, and just like okay, how do I get this? How can I improve this? That kind of stuff. So like I watched it. I still think Rise of Skywalker is it's a hard one to sometimes get through because I mean I mean this is a whole other bag of chips to get into, but it is like, you know, I have my issues with that one, and I don't know, I just feel like in Rise of
And
Skywalker,
yet we're there pushing to get another one.
Yeah.
About one of the characters that die.
I think that's what it comes down to. It's like, because I felt like everything that built up to Rise of Skywalker, and then all of a sudden they just like went, no, we're starting over again, and I felt like all the characters got done dirty. So I feel like a Rey movie and a Ben Solo movie would almost kind of rinse clean, retcon some of the stuff that maybe didn't work. If that
Do you think you can retcon the end of that movie and somehow get Mark Hamill to commit to that retcon, or like the retelling? I think that would be quite a feat.
It would be, because you would want him to come back as a Force ghost, right? Like maybe. Am I alone on this?
Got to be in some capacity.
Okay.
I don't know if I can rewatch
was
this.
was Iger around when they made those? He was around. Okay, he was.
Horses on the Star Destroyer.
So no, yeah. To Daniel's point, right? Think about some of the stuff we watched, and they made a decision that was a good idea, right? Right? They must have read the scripts. So why do you suddenly now start saying no? Right? I don't know. I don't know why all of a sudden you don't want to take that chance anymore.
Right.
Or is it once bitten?
Hey, I'm going to segue into the next thing with that thought. The next one of the rumors that were coming out was Rogue Squadron is now going to be no longer a movie, but it's now going to be a Disney Plus series.
Well, no.
Okay.
Let's cut that off at the pass. Patty Jenkins still owes them a script. Because they had a deal in place, and now the thinking is perhaps it can be developed into it's not in development right now. She's writing a script, basically. Everybody's jumping the gun on this. Hasn't been greenlit. She owes him a script, and now it seems it's probably, you know, they're looking at it and trying to get it to fit and kind of going, well, perhaps this would be better suited as a Disney Plus series. It's not in active development. She owes him a script. I mean, I guess if you want to say that her working on a script is development, yes. But to say that, no, turning this, like, that we're actively giving you money to turn this into something, it's a little bit, I think, presumptive.
Right.
Okay.
Does that work? Yeah.
Okay.
So we're jumping the gun here. Let's not put the cart ahead of the horse here.
So all I've seen is her say that, okay, I'm back on it. I've not heard that's all I've heard is her saying, okay, I'm actually actively back on this project.
Yeah.
But
and I haven't.
Because she owes them a script.
Right.
They signed a deal. She owes them a script. They you know, from what I'm reading, they put a pause on the movie. You know, it was announced in like what, 2020?
Yeah. She went off to do a
and
ton
then there
of
were all these
stuff,
other
right?
projects that she was supposed to work on, like Wonder Woman 3, Cleopatra, and those both sort of fell through. And so, you know, the way it works out in the industry is, you know, sometimes movies get announced and sometimes they get put on the back burner and then they sort of disappear. Does anybody remember the Lando Calrissian movie that was supposed to happen, or the TV series? I mean, it happens.
Right.
With Donald Glover, was it?
With Donald Glover.
Oh,
So-
man. I would have killed to watch that.
Same here.
It's one of those things. Yeah. It's one of those things where...
Do you think we're seeing this resurgence, though, because of the Starfighter news? And do you think that the Disney money bells have gone off and said, well, hey, if we can link this to this, then this would be great. And let's do Starfighters.
But we don't know really what Starfighter is going to be about. We know where it's kind of set. It's in the sequel trilogy. But Rogue Squadron is an original trilogy.
Yeah.
One. And the way it was initially described was, you know, a bunch of hotshot pilots trying to earn their stripes type thing. So is one connected to the other? Maybe very. I mean, they both have pilots in them. They both have starfighters.
Yeah,
Who
that's what I'm
knows?
saying. That's what I'm
But
saying.
it's
Is like,
a
is that just
tenuous, I think, grasp.
Yeah.
And it's funny that how really quickly it seems that Starfighter gets pushed through. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's just like, they announced it at Celebration. They've already got 2 of the leads up there. They're shooting it right now.
Yeah.
And whereas, the Patty Jenkins project, that great commercial sort of that they had of hers, Rose
that
getting
vignette.
up and getting into a flight suit and climbing into an
Yeah.
X-Wing. It's like, wow, that
Dope.
got everybody excited. That was really cool. And yet, you gotta wait because she's
Yeah.
super busy on all these other projects, which is great. But it's like, why are you announcing this if it's not going to be developed or you're not going to go to camera for at least 2 or 3 years? Right.
Right. Maybe that's where
Yeah.
they're learning from, which is why they did not announce. Like Lucasfilm didn't go out and be like, "Hey, we have a Kylo Ren thing coming." Though they've been doing it with Rey. The Rey movie was announced. What, Celebration Europe?
Right.
Like
And that's
2023.
what's
It's
happened
been
to
a
that?
while. Yeah, it's been a long while.
Yeah.
But
that
I'll tell
was
you
the one
something.
time.
I am never gonna not want to see something to do with Rogue Squadron or something, because we haven't had it yet, man. Like, to me, we're, going back to talking about something we've seen and reprising. We have never had a dedicated movie to. We've never gone to the war. We've never really got into it. And I'm here. I've always said this. I'm here for it. I will never not
Man.
be here for that. That would be, to me, that would be such a good movie to see.
I just hope, like, when we talk about like the corporation, the corporate side of it, I don't fumble this period when you have some of the greatest Star Wars creatives on deck with like the stuff that Mandalorian caliber or Andor caliber stuff that's out there, with like your Dave Filoni's and your Jon Favreau's like involved. Don't let that time pass by when you have them to work on this stuff, right?
Right.
Because definitely fans want to see that.
Yeah.
And it's only a finite amount of time because they want to, if they want to work on other projects, it can't be everything.
Nope. And people, you know what? I'm super excited for Mando and Grogu. So it makes me happy that they are utilizing those guys, and even if there's even if they have to pivot from TV to cinema just so that they can tell the story they want to tell, I'm just happy that they're able to actually tell the story.
There is something really exciting about seeing Star Wars on the big screen, though.
There is.
I've said this
Agreed.
to you, and Steve, you were there. Season 3
Yeah.
premiere of Mandalorian at the El Capitan in Hollywood on a big screen, and you look at it and go, "Oh, this is where it belongs." This is
Something else.
It's
Yeah.
lovely watching that on the big screen. So I'm very happy to see that they're making a return to the big screen.
Yeah.
Because this is I think Star Wars kind of belongs up
Yeah.
there. It was great to have it on television finally, which is great. But the way they're shooting television series now, they're shooting them like movies, right? And so put them up on the screens, which is great. We've talked about that a number of times about how if they had done that and had every week, like just pop them into limited release onto the movie screens. And you play it before a movie or something like that. So you watch like the 40-minute episode of Mandalorian, watch a movie, and at the end of the week, you could, or at the end of the series, you can link them all together and show them all, like the entire series. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Right.
that's like Andor, right? Is that what you were saying? Andor goes in threes. We got them three
Yeah.
at a time, so you could easily do that. But any one of those TV shows where I've been lucky enough to see the first couple of episodes on a screening somewhere up on the big screen, it's so much different. And I think you're right. I think we have to go back to the big screen in some of these productions, because the worry is for me is that they're making stuff for screens, i.e. laptops or small screens, the back of an airplane, or even your phone. Like, people live on their phones, and so now I don't feel they're putting as much work into some stuff because they're compensating for the fact that no one's going to go to the big screen. So we got to get some more stuff on big screens to pull everyone back to the big screen so we can get those old.
Are you blaming me for the
Yeah,
downfall of
100%.
Star Wars cinema?
pretty much.
100% toilet
I
boy.
want that to be I want that to be a new hat.
100%.
Killer of
Kevin killed Star Wars.
Yeah.
I will buy that hat. Make it.
Yeah.
Steve hates fun. Kevin killed Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need these. We need these to get people through life. But I honestly do feel that we're losing a lot of that creativity because they're only aiming to put it out on streaming. You know, I
Right.
don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense in my mind is that we're losing a lot of what we used to see and what we used to get. And it
Yeah,
shouldn't
that was
do it
actually going to be
justice
my
watching on a small screen.
yeah, that was going to be my next question was would you prefer to watch this in theater or as a Disney Plus series? But I think we all agree. I think something like Rogue Squadron, I would feel way more immersed
Oh,
in it if it was in the theater.
Oh,
Like when you
yeah.
think about Top Gun, do you want to watch Top Gun for the first time on a phone? Like,
I watched it on a plane.
The first time on a plane?
Yeah.
So did you feel like you were
Brutal.
flying it?
No, I was like, God damn, why didn't I watch this on the big screen? And then you can, right? Because you didn't
Right.
go and see it at the big screen. Which is why I've been going
Right.
crazy this last couple of months, going back and watching movies I absolutely adore on the big screen as many times as I can. And I tell you, I'd strap myself into 4DX for Rogue Squadron anytime, you know? Even,
Oh.
yeah,
Yep.
that would be just amazing.
Yeah, I too. I would just like I think Rogue Squadron as a movie just you know what? I don't care if it's like Starfighter and Rogue Squadron if they all came out like 2 years apart, wouldn't even bug me one bit. I think
Man, I would
More-
play the Nintendo 64 Rogue Squadron on the big screen. I'd be happy. Sat in a 4DX
Oh my God,
chair
you'd
playing
be-
it on the big screen.
you would
Or Pod
throw
Racer.
up Pod Racer. Da, 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 da. Yeah, that's a that is a great game.
love Pod
I'm going to
Racer.
bring up one last topic of rumors that came up, or just news. Manny came back up in the news talking about the Acolyte. He's down for doing more with Star Wars and the character. Also mentioning, I think at one point that this was also supposed to be part of like the Stranger is one of the original Knights of Ren, going back to that kind of thing. So I did not hate this series. I know there's a lot. We've talked about this before about how the internet reacts to something before it comes out. The Acolyte to me was it's as though it's not perfect. I don't believe it deserved any of the vitriolic hate that it got. Because I do believe that series stuck the landing at the end of it, because it actually had me going, okay, I want more. But yeah, I would love to see him come back. Honestly, I'd love to
Hell
see,
yeah.
even if they do a second season, but maybe not call it the Acolyte. Maybe they call it First Night
Not
of
the
Ren.
Acolyte.
Not the
Yeah,
Acolyte.
in
First Night of
brackets,
Ren.
not the Acolyte.
Yeah,
The
not
Stranger.
the Acolyte.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Calm
not the
down.
Acolyte.
Calm down.
How about
Yeah.
the rise of the Knights of Ren? But the thing is,
Yeah,
we said at
right?
the start of the show, I'm all here for that story. And if it was someone else's journey to get into the Knights of Ren with a cameo of Kylo Ren coming in or whatever, I'd watch that. That'd be cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to keep this character alive, some of those characters alive, and kind of move away from the marketing of Acolyte and the negative brand recognition of the Acolyte for the majority of the people out there. Like you, Dole, I enjoyed a lot of aspects of the show. Obviously, it wasn't perfect, but it doesn't mean it was total garbage. So I think pick and choose some of those parts and rebuild it into a better thing, a newer, better thing.
I mean, it explains the helmets, right? Those helmets were supposed to be like almost like meditation chambers to focus your thoughts and
Rage.
feelings, and that would explain why you get or rage, and that would explain why all the Knights of Ren have those crazy ass helmets.
Knights of Knee.
Oh yeah. Oh no, did I say knee? I didn't say knee. Did I?
No, Jason
Oh,
wrote that in the chat.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I thought I'd slipped.
Brilliant. It happens.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You just need to be super buff to be a Knight of Ren.
That's it. Yeah, Daniel. The Acolyte was the opposite of that. They had us in the first half meme. Right? No, I love it. Paul, you watch the series. I'm sure. I got a feeling you're probably in the same boat that we are. Probably love to see more Manny, more Stranger.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, geez, they even had God, the other Sith dude, like lurking in the background. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, Darth
God, it's been a
Plagueis,
while.
the wise.
Yeah, Darth Plagueis. So it's like, oh, what could have been in a season 2, and it's hard. Season 1 of a show is hard because you're laying a lot of the foundation down, and I think, did a lot of it. Did some of it not work? Yeah, for me, some of it didn't work. I will admit I was not happy with a couple of the episodes, but I'm not going to harp on that. I think overall, I still enjoyed the series. I wanted to see it. We spoke about how I think the way they structure these episodes is weird. I think
Yep.
The Acolyte
Right.
is a series that's best to watch all at once. Like they're weird cuts. It's almost like they don't know how to, or they didn't plan properly in terms of breaking it up to make it, a weekly series. And Obi-Wan feels that way too. Like it's meant to be like one 6-hour movie type thing, right?
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that I don't like about these series is like the episodic nature of it, where you have to wait a whole week, where you just get mad about shit and you're irrational. Whereas if you just watch it all the way through, these things that would have bugged you because you've had a week to ruminate over it, you just kind of go, oh, okay, and then that was a weird choice. But you move on because the story is moving on and you're right there. And I think for me, I enjoyed the story. I wanted to see where it went, how far we go, and now we're not. But I did enjoy a lot of the performances in that. The story was going off in a different direction, in a fresh direction, which I liked. And again, it wasn't a perfect show for me either, but I wanted to see more. And I think that's the mark of a successful show, when you want to see more, when they introduce new ideas and they go off in different directions. Heaven forbid we get a different Star Wars story being told out there, right? Like I remember at the beginning of Andor, when they announced it, people were like, we're going to get a series about a character nobody asked for. And it's like, you motherfucker. You hear it now, the utter friggin' hypocrisy of these people. Like the ones who were bitching and moaning the loudest are now the ones who are like, this is better than every other Star Wars is garbage now. And it's like,
I know that's
what
but you talk
me.
about slow burn as well and building a story, because how many people we know as well that was like, oh, I can't get into Andor, it's too boring. And then season 2 started off and they were like, oh yeah, I don't know about, and then it ended on such a banger and all of a sudden everybody's in love with it. But it wouldn't have been as good if you didn't have all those stories being told to build you up to that finale. And that's amazing storytelling and amazing writing.
And again, the structure of Andor, the way they had it planned out, 3 episode arcs.
Yeah.
Right? Where they had that, and it was definitely planned out. Great cliffhangers at the end, stuff to think about.
Yeah.
They stitched it all together. And that's a beautiful thing to do. When you can do that, when you need to do that. Watching a series an episode at a time when it's not specifically designed that way, and especially when you have like this episode's 38 minutes, the next one is 50 minutes, or the first one is like 55 minutes, and it's all over the place. Sorry, right? Like we have this internal clock as audience members, and so when it deviates a little bit too far, sometimes you feel a little bit like, that's it? That was like 30 seconds long. What the hell? And other times it's like, oh my God, this episode feels like it's forever. Oh, it's only 45 minutes. Wow. That's incredible. It's a weird sort of thing. And that's why Andor is such a great example of structure. I love the structure of Andor. Storytelling was awesome too. And that feels more complete for me, and it makes it more watchable as an audience member. So, and I think the Acolyte was, I still liked it. Like, I mean, I liked it.
Get that team back together.
That I really enjoyed, like really, really enjoyed. All those Jedis getting their tickets punched.
Get that stunt team back together, or the fight coordinators back together.
Oh my gosh. So much fun.
Yeah, it was some of the best lightsaber battles. Yep, absolutely it was. And speaking of because you were saying bring the team back together, Manny and I hope I'm saying her name right, Amandla Stenberg. who played the twins. They both come. Well, I've met Manny at Fan Expo. Nicest guy, absolutely lovely. And then Amanda Stenberg, she on all her she comes off very passionate and like she loves Star Wars. And I don't want my worst fear is like the whole thing with like Mary Tran,
Rose Tico
Kelly Marie
situation.
Tran. Yeah,
Yeah.
where all of a sudden she comes in and she's all excited about Star Wars, loves Star Wars, and then it's just like the fans just kill it for him. And there's nothing more heartbreaking than that.
But you can say that about anyone, and you don't have to be an actor to get put off by Star Wars fans. Even a fan can be put off by a Star Wars fan, right? I mean, we all need to take a little break from it after a while and get out of that social media hub of the true fans, right? So
I don't know. I'm again, I hope they're able to come back to these characters. I do want to see where the twins were going to go. If they have to rebrand it, that's fine. But it's like I feel like sometimes Lucasfilm is not quite done with it yet. Because next year we are getting I think the Acolyte Visual Dictionary already came out, maybe, and then next year the Art of the Acolyte comes out. I did pre-order that, so I
love your art books.
I love the art books so much.
The imagery is what works for it, though, right? And I think that's a lot of the time what we love and we fall in love with is the imagery of it. But when it's backed up with amazing writing, it's just a winner at that point.
Yep.
The imagery is just so good on some of these things. They do such a great job. I will say, though, if I can just put this up there to give Bitter Troll some due here, I think this is a good statement to make, right? Just because you didn't ask for it doesn't mean you're not going to enjoy it. And I think that's for a lot of things that get made out there. When it comes out from the blind side and you're like, oh, shit, I didn't know I needed this, but that was really good, And I'm going to be interested to see what people think about Badlands as well, Predator.
Nobody asked for this lasagna. Man.
Right?
Exactly what I need.
You can't just wait around for the things that you want.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to be, okay, thank you for that. I didn't know I needed that. That was great.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's this. You know what? We're going to end it here because I wanted to keep it tight to an hour. We all want to relax and sleep. It's been a long...
early.
Early-ish. It'll be fine. But just... let's do a quick roundtable of where everyone can find you, and Steve can plug tomorrow. So you know what, Kevin, we're going to start with you. I'm going to work everything around here. Where can they find you?
Hey, go watch last week's episode of Unboxing Thursdays with Daniel and Paul and Ryan. We were right there in that man's room, right over there, together in person. Completely different vibe for Unboxing Thursdays, but it was a lot of fun. I'm streaming over on youtube.com/toyingaround every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Nice. Paul, where can people find you?
You can find me tomorrow on the DHL network on a nice little show called You Need It. At
DHL?
Are we rebranding?
DHL.
To your
Did I say
nemesis?
DHL?
You said DHL.
44 Network.
Freudian.
Thinking about his
I'm thinking
deliveries
about
again.
DHL because they fucked up another delivery for me, but whatever. The DL44 Network on a show called You Need It, hosted by my friend Steve 3. And I think I'm going to be guesting with you, Ryan, on it, where we're going to open up a bunch of Star Wars stuff.
Great thumbnail, by the way.
Squadron.
Thank you.
What's that?
Great thumbnail, by the way. Paul with the giant... I don't know what tool. Did you have the box cutter?
He's got bolt cutters. And
Bolt
Ryan's got
They're these. Apparently, these are gigantic. Tune
So
in
good.
to see Steve drink from an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Yeah, still here, brother.
He makes
Still
fun of
here.
me, and he drinks out of like a bed. There it is. There it is. That's enough. That's big enough to fuel a small vehicle, folks.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing that.
get-
But usually, I have a show on my YouTube channel, Bitter Asian Dude Inc. Funboxing Sundays. Although I have not been able to do a show because I've been away in Vancouver for a long time, but now I'm back, and I'm trying to work out a schedule because my son plays baseball and catcher's practice is, which I drive him to, is Sunday nights at 8:30. So we got to find a time to make it work. But I'm itching to get back. There's a whole stack of hot toys right there.
There is.
Basically, the premise of the show is I unbox a geeky collectible. I do a half-ass review, and we chat. And the chats are great. The community is wonderful, and we have a drinking game. So that's generally what we do. But tomorrow for sure you can see me on the D8 oh my, I almost said it again, the DL44 network.
They screwed up bad, huh? For your package.
Tomorrow at what is it, 10:30 Pacific, 1:30 Eastern,
10:30 a.m. PST, 1:30
There you go.
Eastern time.
or
But
1:30 in the civilized
we're
world.
hoping Paul gets a package in time because I want him to open.
Yes, we're holding off, and
Yeah.
hopefully it works out because Steve was actually very instrumental in helping me secure something because Amazon Canada fail,
Uh-oh.
big fail.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, for
Oh,
change, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Any way we can get it, we can.
Yeah.
Steve 3, keep talking.
Yeah, Ryan.
Where can they find you?
You can find me tomorrow morning on the DHL channel,
you
number
go.
44.
I think we should rebrand DHL 44.
DL44 Network. Funnily enough, where you all are right now. Who'd have thunk it? Tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. PST. I've been waiting to unbox something which I've been waiting for ages. And Ryan gave me a kick in the backside and figured it out for me when I was in town in Vancouver. So I'm going to open up my my land speeder. It's a cherished vehicle, one I love. I have a lot of land speeders. So I'm going to be opening that up along with a bunch of other stuff that we picked up over the last couple of weeks. Obviously, some more stuff for the Star Tours. Ryan's got some Star Tours stuff as well. So one way or another, we're going to crack open some of the MGS because this show's usually about Micro Galaxy. So one way or the other, we're going to see some Micro Galaxy. But I did a, can I say a fuck ton on this channel? I don't know. I did a fuck ton of that shit last week. So yeah, I'm trying to put it away, but you can find me there tomorrow morning with these guys. And then if you don't find me there, you can always find me on Instagram under Shitspackle Muppet Bar and under Steve 3D. And if you don't get enough of me, you can always find me on the GXW Generation X-Wing podcast, where we're doing reviews of movies every other Thursday and other shit too.
Nice.
Busy man.
Busy man. And then as for me, you'll find me on Tuesday nights on Towing Side at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. And then the next night on Wednesdays with everybody else, including probably soon to be Paul, I am on Wednesday nights at Gotham City Tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific. And then you will find me randomly here on the DHL. Now I did it.
Oh my God.
See?
What the heck?
This is awesome.
You guys told me you like the name.
Oh my God! Can we do a thing for tomorrow morning? We'll just get DHL up in the corner. And
Oh, we might have to. DL44 Network. So you'll see me with Steve tomorrow. Like he said, he already spoiled what I'm unboxing, so it doesn't really matter. But I mean, this is what we come. This is why you set your notifications. You never know when we're going to set up a stream. If there's something cool, some news that we want to talk about, that we're probably just going to drop it at any random point when we're free. It might not be necessarily always the same 4 people, but there'll be people here. So with that said, everyone have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to everyone who caught us on the replay. May the force be with you. And this has nothing to do with DHL.